Webheads, we're 3 weeks into King in Black, and I was even starting to doubt if there was a tie-in worth talking about. But finally this week, things are looking up. Hey y'all, my webheads out there, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0, and fans, I am your host, Mike Spider Slayer, always helping you make decisions on what comic books to buy. And guys, I'm continuing my coverage in King in Black. This is after the arrival, week 3. We've had the first issue, we've had a whole bunch of other tie-ins already, and those tie-ins have not been good. But this week, things are starting to look up, okay? So, we have 3 books that are tying into King in Black. The first one is King in Black, The Immortal Hulk. I think this is a one-shot only. Then we have Symbiote Spider-Man issue 2. And then we have Black Cat issue 1, all right? So, let's talk about the book that probably ties in the least when it comes to King in Black. And to tell you the truth, you don't have to spend your money on this. I don't even feel that it's worth picking up, but I will discuss it. And this one is Immortal Hulk, one shot. This is like a Christmas issue. It's like a Silent Night but Deadly Nights when it comes to the Immortal Hulk. And Al Ewing does write this book, and we have Aaron Kuder who does the artwork. The artwork in this book is, at times, it looks really nice, and then at other times, I'm looking at the Hulk, and his facial expressions are just way out there, man. When he's happy, dude, he's like freaking out. And, you know, and all this issue is basically Hulk walking around the town. You know, all the people have been evacuated. You know, there's this guy that leaves a present because he's scared of Hulk, and these presents make him happy. And the only thing you see on the street is just these couple of cops that go after Hulk. They shoot him, and then the Hulk gets mad, but then you wind up seeing the symbiote possess these cops, and then they wind up becoming symbiote creatures, and they go after Hulk into the toy store. And there's some moments in there that remind Hulk of his childhood, and that's, you know, basically it. Hulk does a battle against this creature, and obviously he wins, and he breaks into the toy store, and he's like happy because it's Christmas. I don't know what else to say. It's just a book that has no dialogue. And usually that's okay, but why did you have to make this for King in Black? There was really no purpose except for maybe a cash grab. So don't spend your money on this one. It's definitely not worth it. I thought maybe it would tell a little bit better story, maybe be a little bit more emotional, but definitely not worth your money here. All right, so let's go on to the book that actually has some dialogue, and we'll tie it into King in Black into the future and make you buy another book. So this one is Symbiote Spider-Man. This is issue 2. Obviously written by Peter David, who's been doing these Symbiote Spider-Mans, and Greg Land does the artwork, who has also been the artist on here. The artwork is fine. If you know how Greg Land does his artwork, it's very distinctive. You know, obviously it's controversial, but I like his artwork. I love the facial expressions. Betty Brant has a funny facial expression in this particular issue. I love the way Symbiote Spider-Man is drawn. There's some really good witty comments by J. Jonah Jameson in this issue, and this issue was, I thought, better than the first one, as this one got a little bit deeper into the plot, and it also gives you a reason why maybe you might want to pick up Black Knight in the future. So in this book, we saw that in Ravencroft, Alistair Smythe was possessed by some shadow monster, and then he winds up dying, and then these shadow monsters like expelled into other people, and this one went into Ned Leeds. And so Spider-Man is I guess trying to go after Ned Leeds and whatnot, and in the meantime you wind up seeing Black Knight. He winds up coming face to face with Merlin in this book, and he kind of gives him the information that a great danger is coming. which represents Knull. You get to see Knull's face, and he is saying that the Ebony Blade has a great deal in defeating the creature when he does arrive. Obviously, this is not set in today's time because symbiote Spider-Man stories take place in the past. So he's like, okay, fine. But really, this Merlin is not really Merlin. It's an actual shadow creature as well, trying to steal the blade from him. Okay. In this whole issue, you wind up seeing Ned Leeds, the shadow monster, chasing after J. Jonah Jameson. He's going after him and whatnot. And then eventually a host or the demon has to leave its host or it will die. So that's what happens there. At the end of the issue, you wind up seeing Black Knight get stabbed by one of these shadow monsters, and we see Kang and Rocket come to his aid and try to rescue him by the time you wind up getting to the end of this issue. So, what did I think about this book? Well, this one was good, and I love how this book pushes you to buy the Black Knight tie-in, because it's giving you information that Knull is coming to Earth, and the Ebony Blade has a major part in defeating Knull, and when the time comes, you have to be ready. So again, this takes place in the past, and the Black Knight book takes place in the present. So to find out what happens there, you have to read Black Knight. So that's kind of how this is all tying into King in Black, so they can get you to buy a Black Knight book. Very clever there, Marvel. Very, very clever. Now, how does it tie in any further going forward into King in Black? I don't know. We'll see how much further it continues to tie in, but maybe just because Black Knight is tied into King in Black, and that's why they stick the banner on that one. So that's kind of a loose tie-in too. So there's that one. But the book that I would say is a true definition of a King in Black tie-in is Black Cat issue 1. Now this book tied in beautifully, and this is how you write a tied in book. This one is written by Jed McKay. He's the one that has been writing Black Cat since the started, and CF Villa is the artist who does the artwork, and the artwork in this book is really well done. Love the way Felicia is drawn in here. Great facial expressions. Love all the great 2-page spreads. The symbiotic dragons look really well done as well. Just all the bright and vibrant colors are in here are really nice. Doctor Strange looks good because you get to see him in here. So artwork is really good. So what happens in this story that makes it such a great tie-in? Well, we get to see Felicia doing a kind of like a heist, right before the whole thing goes down with Knull. She's stealing stuff from S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, they just left stuff around. There's this underground highway, and they left these drops. So they were trying to like steal these drops that they left, right? And then the next thing you wind up seeing is this big symbiotic dragon breaks through the underground highway, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. Okay, so you see Felicia go, and she looks up and she's like, oh my god, what has just happened? And she sees that this huge battle is commencing between the Avengers, the X-Men, Doctor Strange, just everything, and these symbiotic creatures. And Felicia's like, wow, symbiotes. And she sees Captain America, and she kind of can't believe that, you know, he's by her side, and that he actually knows who she is, you know? And she's like, we could use all the hands that we can get, Miss Hardy. And she's like, oh, okay. And so what happens in this book is she actually gets to witness Doctor Strange get swallowed up by the symbiotic dragons, and that he is captured by Knull. Okay? And so that's a very key piece here, all right? Especially in this book. So what happens is we get a little bit of a backstory from Felicia. She's doing the narration in this book on what happens to Sentry, what happens to the Fantastic Four, what happens to the Avengers, the X-Men. And she goes to Eddie Brock's scientist, and, you know, she has to go and try to figure things out on how to defeat Knull. How are we going to give this guy a black eye? You know, because Captain America wound up giving her the task that she has to steal Doctor Strange from Knull because, again, he was captured in the symbiotic bubble. So that's what she's going to have to do. So that is the heist that she has to complete in order to get the upper hand against Knull. And if you read the description before this book came out, that was it. She has to steal something from Knull in order to get the upper hand. Who would have thought that it was Doctor Strange himself? He's the Sorcerer Supreme. If there's somebody that can help, it's him, right? This was a great book. Everything about it was phenomenally done. The narration from Felicia, the plot was really good. You got to see a little bit of a backstory of what has happened, just in case you missed King in Black issue 1. And just the whole story just tied in really nicely. And you got to see her point of view of things, of how she experienced Knull coming to Earth for that, for that first time, and, taking over, New York or wherever he's at. Great book. If this is one tie-in book that you must get, I feel it's this one. Black Cat issue 1 is definitely, in my opinion, a 5-star book because it does everything that a tie-in should, right? Where all these other tie-ins up until this point, they have just missed the mark, and by big time. So hopefully we get other books that tie in just as good as Black Cat. But until then, all the other tie-ins you can pretty much skip. But buy Black Cat and maybe buy Venom. Even though Venom wasn't that good and it was a stall, so far, those are the two that I could recommend. So guys, there you have it. There is this week's coverage on King in Black. Tell me what you thought when it came to these books, if you read them, and hopefully I helped you make a decision on what King in Black comic books to buy. So until next time, guys, check out more content right here. And this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. I'll see you next time.